Okay guys, this is a bit of a scouting how-to video with a discussion of tactics of the entire team. This is a standard battle at Siegfried Line, and although I would love to organize a gigantic sweep through the field using fire and movement and as many of our mobile vehicles as could be mustered, that takes a lot of skill and it's hard to organize in a pub. In fact, it's practically impossible. So what our guys did here was far preferable. We used economy of force, and almost all our players were operating in a very slow and methodical way in the town, not attempting to do too much too soon. And I've seen that happen numerous times in pubs and on maps like this. I totally approve of this way of conducting the battle. Now, there's one guy on our team that I'm not happy with, and you'll see this in a few seconds. His name is Sergeant Hall. He's in the T-54E1, and he is racing ahead up there as if scouts didn't exist in the game. Now, he's going to get behind that bunker, and he is going to be besieged, unable to reinforce anybody, and knocked down to 8% in short order here. Now here's my first loop up here, and you'll see that my sixth sense, I make multiple passes here, and look at that, I'm right in front of that T-54 and he didn't see me. Totally awesome, eh? So Sergeant Hall there is rapidly being hammered into oblivion and unable to help the team in the later stages. He's besieged. And I completely disapprove of that sort of thing, especially while the scouts are still alive. You just don't do that, Sergeant Hall. So hopefully you'll learn from this video. And you know, I'm a little upset here. That's why I pulled way back and I'm assessing the situation. But on the other hand, I do have an obligation to try to help this guy get some targets, even though he's heavily damaged. So I'm going to make multiple passes here. And here's another pass with a little... And my bulb didn't go off again. So there's an awfully good player, the T-54 on their team from Thugs, C-squared up there. He was content not to probe this flank until it was too late, and I consider that to be a major blunder. You'll see I wasn't seen again there. And now I'm seen. I consider a Tier 9 medium tank, especially with no Tier 10s present, I consider what he did there to be just too passive, and he has to get involved earlier and try to think of something to do to help his team before it's too late. Now, Sergeant Hall, like I said, besieged and almost dead. But I'm still going to circle for him because, you know, his gun is valuable for the team, and if he can get in a few more shots before he meets his maker, you know, it can help the team. And I tell him to stop exposing. Right? He should just cower behind that bunker until I get the lights right for him. That's the proper thing to do. So I'm going to make another pass here. And, you know, I consider what our team is doing in the town. It's beautiful. You know, taking their time. I've seen so many people just so eager to get in their damage, and they rush it. And if you remember, you know, I made a point of showing you at the start of this video the XVM scorecard for the potential result. We were given a 34% chance, but I think the difference is the tactics and the caution that our players exercise. So I completely approve, as I said earlier. So here I am going in circles around this guy. You know, I do this all the time for people. To try to help them, right? Not only to draw fire away from their tank, but also to get them a target if possible. And now I'm switching positions. You know, one of the rules of scouting is to stop doing the same thing over and over again in the same place. So I'm going to seek another avenue of approach, and the Panther 2 is there, so that's a little awkward. And if I remember right, he fires at me. He saw me. So I'm going to just duck down here, and hopefully he won't hit me. There's the shot. Okay, it's reaching the point where I have to make my move. Now, I'm just going to hit pause here. There's one thing that I have to point out. There is a T-21 on their team. And the proper use of that fellow, Mr. Master U571, is with the T-54. You know, he can get behind a bunker ahead of that guy and probe the field. Well, he never even attempted that. It's hardly surprising, given his obvious deficiencies there, as you can see. Nevertheless, the T-54, you know, he should have been yelling at that guy, "Come over here and give me a hand." So it didn't happen, and I've used this avenue of approach many times. This very often works. I don't believe in using flat ground, but if there's any terrain feature that will keep you from being hit, you use it. And you know, the makers of this map have thoughtfully provided me with a little avenue of approach, and you know, obviously I'm going to try to light up the arty. But now I have another problem, is that in recent months, you know, they've been one-shotting me. They seem to be better at it these days, of hitting you at, you know, point blank to short range shots. So I'm just going to let our arty do the work, and I think it's coming up. Bam! Thank you, Lore 155, the Tier 8 Super Teapot, as we used to call it in Panic. So I'm just going to sit here and force them to react to my presence. And as a rule, I don't let them shoot me in the circle. That's called spite, if you want a dictionary definition. You know, I hate handing them some free, especially if they played badly. And they're down to 3 tanks. You know, I think the T-54, as I said earlier, I don't know if he could have salvaged this one, but he had to try something earlier in the fight. Now, it's possible he wasn't happy with his teammates. It's possible he was telling them to do certain things and they were ignoring him. But on the other hand, I think his approach was dilatory and too passive, and it possibly cost them the game. So although he's racking up kills out there in the field, it's too late. And you know, that our T-54E1 was almost dead, and he could have swept that flank, killed our arty, and you know, possibly taken us from behind. Who knows? But I think, you know, he made a mistake, and I had to say something to him. I hope he doesn't consider it too nasty. You know, I called him a square. Well, that's his name. So, and he's going to own this E75 here, you know, possibly firing gold ammunition, and he's going to come and reappear with his 3 kills. I don't know how much damage he got in this game. I can find out by uploading this replay to whatreplays.com or whatreplays.net or whatever it is. So here he comes. You know, look at his health situation. He could have expended some points, I think, earlier, and possibly helped his team. Anyways, I don't want to belabor that point too much. You know, I think our team performed magnificently here, and you know, people who use XVM and your team is you know, weaker, that is a warning bell that behooves all the members of the team to be really careful, protect your tank from fire, and support your friends and not scatter. And we followed that formula to a T in this fight. So for all of you guys that are discouraged when you see that XVM score, well, in my opinion, there are ways of counteracting the weakness of your team, and it'll help you play better to think that way. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and it's game over. Goodbye, squared.